if you ever wondered about, do you have a soulmate? How do I find one? Is there just one and only? Or any other questions around soulmate? This video is for you. Also, if you have any kind of conflicting beliefs, conflicting views, or just kind of this uncertainty, but how is it possible that this and that? So if you have any of these things, then again, this video is for you. In this video, I will share you my personal beliefs. So none of them is to be taken as absolute truth. It's just my personal opinion and worldview that seems to be working well for me, and I trust that you will find some truth in it. And I suggest to always filter everything I say through your own inner authority, your pure place in your heart, and decide for yourself what works for you. Take that, and everything else, toss that. It's not for you, and why should you keep anything that doesn't work for you? And let's start with the core tenet, core belief, or I would say universal principle how the reality works, this human reality. And one of those principles is, as stated in the Bible, as you believe, so it shall be done unto you. So what it means, you can resolve any question you may have with this one principle. It is as it is because you believe it. It will appear as you believe it. There is no other way. And when I say as you believe, it doesn't mean like, oh, I mentally think this should be correct. It means deeply energetical at your core. What are your beliefs at your core? That's what you manifest, and that will be your reality. You will struggle to find any other way as opposed to what you believe. So your beliefs will always be evident. How do you know what you believe? Just look around. Your reality will always give you plenty of proof, plenty of evidence to your current and existing beliefs. The good news is you can change those beliefs any moment, any time you like, to whatever beliefs you prefer. So that's the beauty of it. Is there a soulmate? Like, let's address the first question. Is there such a thing as a soulmate? Well, it depends. If you want one, you will have one. If you don't want, you will not have one as much as you try. So it boils down to really your belief and your desires. Like, if you don't have any desire to have a soulmate, you will live in reality where there are none. So that will be your reality. And if you really believe one, you will have one. It is that simple. And if you don't like reality you live in, like let's say you live without a soulmate and you have a desire for one, but you cannot find one, then let's address beliefs and figure out why do you experience reality without one? And it could be that you believe that there is none. For whatever reason, part of you believes soulmate is not, they either don't exist or they don't exist for you specifically, or for whatever specific reason, you're not available. And that's a belief, and we can address that and we can fix that. And that's exactly what I do. I help entrepreneurs and business leaders to first identify what are their beliefs, consciously and subconsciously, and resolve them towards, so that they can fulfill their deep desires from the pure place in their hearts. So let's go to the first and big one. So now that we know that, is there a soulmate? Well, I believe there is. And let's move to the second one, which will answer the second part of the and. Is there just one and only, or are there multiple ones? You probably have heard about it. And I believe personally that there are almost infinite versions and variations of a soulmate. And why do I say so? Because personally, I believe that's more empowering worldview, because that means it gives me freedom to not to be perfect, not to need to make this perfect relationship with one person, and if it fails, then I've lost everything forever, doomsday, and yeah, suck it up for the rest of your life. That doesn't make sense to me, to just kind of like have this like a lifetime sentence of, okay, you screw this relationship up and now suffer for the rest of your life. That doesn't make sense. Like, why would that happen? Like, if I create my reality, It's not possible. So yeah, so one and only doesn't really make sense for me. However, I'm not saying that it's best worldview to see it as they're just in front of them. You can also create an equally empowering, powerful perspective that there is just one and only. And then basically you choose, okay, there's one and only, and that means that it felt like I had this one and only, I found it, but then the breakup happened, and then now they're no longer one and only, there's someone else. So yes, you can have that kind of perspective as well. However, personally, it makes no sense to me. It's like it felt correct for the whole time, and then suddenly it didn't felt correct, and now I have to justify why it felt correct in the beginning and now it doesn't feel. Like, was I deceiving myself? Like, what happened? That kind of doesn't make sense to me. Like, but that's my personality. However, you can make sense to that if you really want, and it is possible to tune to that frequency. So yeah, is there one and only? It depends. Really, it doesn't matter. If you really like to have one, you will have one. If you don't want, if you want to have abundance, go for abundance, and you'll have abundance possibilities. So now that let's explore. Let's say there's abundance of soulmates. You have like thousands of them waiting up, lining up to basically have a relationship with you. So the question is, what kind of relationship should I have? Should it be monogamous or polygamous relationship? Should I have just one and only, like for the rest of my life, marriage, and that's it, end of the story, and just have this journey with one person and enjoy it? Or actually, I just want to have more of them, like all the time, like cats, for example. For example, yeah, I just had a cat lady for the neighbor. She has kittens, and it appears the kittens have at least multiple fathers. And it also appears that before the kittens came, Lady Cat had engagement with at least 3 other male cats. So apparently, nature, many animals stick to polygamous relationships. So there's no concept of, oh, there's just one and only, let's just go with that. So in nature, apparently, there's many evidence towards polygamy, and many people use this as an argument. So let's do that. It's nature, so we're animals, so let's roll with that. My personal belief is, regardless to monogamous or poly, is that body doesn't care, mind doesn't care. The mind and body, they're adaptable, highly adaptable, and they will mold into any belief you choose and choose to embody. And if you choose to be monogamous relationship, that's what your body and mind will adapt to. You will be uniquely suited for having a relationship with one person for the rest of your life, and your body will adapt to that and mold into that shape. And that's the reality you will experience. And the same can be true for poly. It's like you will always have this desire to have multiple partners and always have this eye for another one and always looking for something else, and that's what you will experience. And again, here it's not about what you mentally think is correct. It's not about your mind beliefs either. It's about your deep energetical core. And you could have conflicting beliefs. Let's say mentally you think, oh, the mono is the best, the Bible says it, and the God probably wants me to have one relationship with just for the rest of my life, faithful and really loyal. So that's the thing. But subconsciously, there is a desire to have multiple partners, and you're kind of like somewhere down the line, your subconscious started believing in polyamory. It felt nice, whatever, and you have this inner conflict, and then it's a tough life when you have this inner conflict. And whenever that's the case, I suggest to resolve it. Choose one, pick side, or pick none, and then just roll with it. And resolve it so your whole body, your conscious and subconscious mind goes in one direction. And yeah, which direction? You already know. What feels more aligned for you at the moment, that's the direction. Go for it. no judgment. Personally, I like the monogamous relationships, even though I believe in ability to enjoy more than one and multiple soul partners. And even though all that's true, I just thought like, okay, monogamous sounds more exciting. That's what my soul wants. Let's go for that one. And again, it's more about the preference. Like there's nothing wrong or right with either of them. It's just different kinds of relationships, different kind of experiences. Also, there's many aspects to take into account, whether you evaluate which experience you prefer, like society pressure, society programming, ability to enjoy, connect, energies, also polarity, communication. Like there's so many aspects. So yeah, depending what your soul came here to do, you will probably have slight inclination towards the one. So yeah, allow yourself to feel and desire what you truly want to desire. So that's it. So that's my answer for mono versus poly. So let's explore different what-if scenarios. So let's start with the big one. How do I find my soulmate? And the answer to this question is very simple. If you need to ask this question, you obviously haven't found one. Because once you find one, you know. If you need to ask this question, you're not in a frequency where you could recognize one. Because it's a deep knowing. You either have or have not. And let's go deeper in another belief I find very empowering, which will kind of answer the rest of the questions completely. So you will probably not need to ask any of them. So, how do I find my soulmate? First, what does it mean, soulmate? Define what the soulmate is. And how will it feel? How will it look? What does it mean to have a soulmate? You need to, at least energetically, have an idea or inkling towards what does it mean? What am I looking for? Because if you're looking for a soulmate, you have a desire. You want something. And you know that you want something by either knowing what you don't want or knowing what you want. So you always, because if you're asking this question, you have a slight curiosity. And if it's only curiosity, you don't care about soulmate, you're not looking for it. And if you don't find an answer, it's fine. Like life goes on. So there's no desire. So there's no need for you to find an answer. So it's all good. However, if you need to know the answer, that means you have a desire to find a soulmate, which means you already know what you're looking for because you already know what you want. And if your energy level is low, then usually you don't specifically know or have conscious awareness of what you want. However, you would have quite detailed understanding of what is it that you don't want, what you want to get away from. And that's the place to start from. And you can put that into ChatGPT or any other AI, talk to your coach, and they would be able to flip that into what is it that you want. And that's how you know what you're looking for. And that's your definition basically of your soulmate. And yeah, this definition can change over time, but that's it. What do you want? And once you know what you're finding, you need to be matched energetically. So this part where you need to be matched energetically for what you're looking for is the answer to basically all the other questions here in essence, because you will manifest what you're matched for. That's it. And it's also, and you're matched for the beliefs you carry on and hold within yourself. So you find a soulmate by being matched to what you want. It is that simple. So find a match, be a match, and you will find it. You will actually, it's more like other way around. The soulmate will find you, or you will know what to do so that you put yourself in a place where you find each other. So yeah, finding is not an issue. It's more about allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel in order to put yourself in a place where you actually feel complete. And release everything that's not you, that stops you from feeling complete. Let's go for the next one. Breakups and death. Many people are kind of concerned, okay, I found my soulmate, but then we broke up, either they dumped me or I dumped them. or they died. Like, okay, and if you had this belief of, oh, I had this one and only, what do I do now? And do I suffer for the rest of my life? That doesn't sound fun. I don't recommend that. So again, in this case, it makes more sense that, well, there's multiple ways how to see that. Let's say you believe in one. Let's explore this one because it's for multiple. It's easy. You just go for the next one. Like if you break up with one, you just pick another one. Or death. Okay, you just go for the next one. Next one will step up. That's easy. That's like requires no effort or imagination. So let's explore what if you believe there's one and only, and you had this, and the breakup happened, and now you're doomed for the rest of your life. Well, no, you're not doomed for the rest of your life. But how do I resolve this? Well, you could create the story or idea that souls migrate between the bodies. So let's say you had an ex, and you could just imagine that their soul dumps that body, some other soul comes in, and that soul that is your soulmate, it goes into other body. Basically, you could have this kind of soul migration happening while between the bodies and all these things, which is something that I've heard of actually happening. Typically, it happens through like near-death experiences. However, it is plausible that this could happen on other circumstances. It's a plausible story. So this is one way how you can resolve the death and you still having partner and a soulmate after breakup. So basically it's about storytelling. So all this is, resolving this question is finding a story that works for you, the shortest path to getting what you want. So yeah, breakups is not a big deal. Just go live on, move on, ask what you want. If you still want a soulmate, you have it. Desire means having, so you already have it. So yeah, just go on, move on, let go. And yeah, when it comes to breakups, quick tip on breakups and death and grief, it takes as long as you want it to take. And as soon as you decide, okay, I'm ready, I move on, bless them, all the best to them, release everything from past, what do I want now? And that's it. It is as simple as that. It doesn't mean avoiding, suppressing feelings. I might have kind of glanced over it in this presentation, but really, when a breakup happens, you allow yourself to feel, allow emotions to flow, and it will take as long as it takes. And at some point you will feel, okay, enough, and it will be enough. That's it. So let's move to the next one. Unavailable or married. So many people is like, oh, but I found my soulmate, but they're married. Or but something happened and now they're unavailable, a different country, or whatever the story that you manifested. Because let's be honest, you manifest your reality. So there's a reason why it disappears. What do I do now? Well, what do you want? Do you want one and only? Or you want to believe that there's infinite of them? If you believe infinite of them, then, well, if they're married, seems complicated, unless they're open relationship, that seems to, like for me, if they're married and they're not in open relationship, like polyamory and everyone's involved, is consensually available, then I would not touch that. It would go against my values. So basically, I would point to your values here. Like, what do you believe in? What are your values? What's non-negotiable for you? And for me, is like, it needs to be consensual and based on agreements. And let's say, picture this example. Let's say I don't have a soulmate. I find someone who's married. She's married, and I really have this thing for her. And yeah, I feel like she's my soulmate. And what do I do now? She's married. Like, well, I engage with her husband, and see if there's a match. Like, can I just join the party, basically? And if they're both open, everyone's happy, then there's no problem. Let's go for poly here. Like, no problem, you know? However, let's say there's a belief, no, it has to be monogamous. Like, no, it cannot work. Like, well, I wouldn't want to take anyone away from anyone, So I don't want to, like, again, it would be, I also wouldn't want to have any kind of relationship behind the backs either. So that's a lack of integrity. So again, what do I do? Well, I guess communication here, like, what does she want, basically? Like, what does she want? Like, she has a choice. What does she believe? What's the best interest for her? And she gets to choose. And the worst case, she's not a match. The worst case, she's not a match. She wants to either both of us or none of us or one of us. And yeah, it's her choice. The worst case, there's not a match. And if there's not a match, it's not a match. Move on. Like, very simple. Or keep your desire, keep your craving, need purified, and see what happens. I would suggest personally, I like and prefer non-attachment, so I would still cherish the feeling and desire, but I wouldn't attach to a specific person. So that's my personal belief. I would really appreciate what this person, this lady, represents for me, and really appreciate her and the energy she represents, but I wouldn't be really attached to her because, again, I believe in multiple soulmates. Therefore, I don't have to attach to her specifically. I would appreciate it, I would go on, and if someone else shows up, that or something better. So I would believe that or something better. So what do I care if she's married, unavailable, not a match, when there's another one waiting for me? Even better. Well, awesome. And okay, again, you could say, if you don't believe in this kind of arguing, you could go back to, what if I believe in mono and one and only? Well, in that case, still, it seems to you that she's the one and only, and all this, like, everything seems to align. However, she's not, and there's kind of this self-deception or lack of awareness and conscious happening, because she's just like a landmark, or like someone who just keeps you motivated to keep going, keep trying, to keep purifying yourself, to be ready for your real soulmate. So she's kind of a decoy, just a decoy. So nothing wrong with her. No need to attach either. Is just yeah, she's just a necessary stepping stone on your path for you to actually get to your soulmate. Because that or something better. Again, this is my belief. That or something better. So it's either her or someone better. And if it's not her, someone better is. And again, it doesn't matter. You can always say, oh, but this appeared real, but it wasn't real. That's one way how to see it. I rather have this detachment idea that it's, the feeling is real, but it's not attached to her specifically. It can happen with her or someone else. I don't know. I don't care. I care about having that feeling fulfilled, everyone being happy, lots of love for everyone. That's what I care about. And there's no problem. She's married, wonderful. I will either find someone else, or she will find a harmonious way how to be with me. Either will work for me and for the guy who she's married with, because he also will be fulfilled by end of it. So that's how I see it. There's at least 3 people involved. By end of it, everyone's happy, fulfilled, and got what they wanted. That's the only scenario I'm interested in, and that's what I will get, because that's the only I'm willing to settle for. Let's go for hurting and toxic. So what if I found my soulmate, but they suddenly became toxic, they're hurting me, and all these things. Odds are, like, not to be judgmental or create a scenario where this is the only truth that's happening. However, odds are, if you're hurting and in a toxic relationship, my question to you is, why are you in this relationship? What are you doing there? And answer to this question is, well, because you want to. And the next question is, okay, since there is a part of you that wants to be in this relationship, why do you want to be in there? Why would you want to be hurt and in a toxic relationship in the first place? And the logical conclusion to me to that answer is because you're in low vibe energy, and it seems attractive to you. For whatever reason, this is attractive. This is what you want. Genuinely, there's a part of you that enjoys and gets a kick of being in low vibe energy. And when it comes to energy, I wholeheartedly recommend Frederick Dodson and what was the other one? The Map of Consciousness, forgot the name. So there's this energy levels from Frederick Dodson from 0 to 1000, really amazing energy levels of energy, something like that book. And then there's Map of Consciousness by Hawkins. So Dr. Stephen Hawkins. So yeah, either of those two books, explore, and it will show you because wherever you are on energy level, that will determine your perception and your worldview, and also basically what happens with you. So odds are that you are the one who's toxic in a low vibe, or you're allowing yourself to be dragged down by someone else who's toxic, and basically you become toxic by staying in there. So there's attraction for you, or attachment. So basically you're allowing yourself to attach to something toxic. Why would you do that? You wouldn't. So stop that. And let's say you are the one who's going down, you're the one. So sometimes you're the one who's actually being toxic and drags the other person down. Other times it's the other way around. And it's not about, actually it doesn't really matter which one is the one who's dragging the other one down, because usually at least one of them is doing that. Solution is always the same. Like choose whichever perspective feels most empowering for you. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You will still need to self-love and self-accept yourself, and then remove any attachment to any toxicity you experience. And sometimes it means energetical breakup. This is something I'm writing a book on right now, on breakups, and this is a really powerful technique I teach to every single one of my clients. So break up with them in your mind, energetically, mentally. This will allow you to remove any unhealthy attachments with them, and basically you will remove any kind of unhealthy attachments, and that will be end of you being hurt and toxic. And as you remove this attachment, you naturally start rising in your energy levels, and your world will change, and your situation will also change. Either they will stop hurting you because suddenly they're an energetical match, or you will move on to a different relationship because you will realize that they were the ones that hurt you, and you have no desire to be hurt, and you will just, okay, since there's infinite other people who would gladly appreciate and love me, why would I stick with this one who's obviously not up for the job? I don't know, why would you do that? So don't do that. Break up with anyone who's not a match. However, if you do decide to break up, I would gently encourage you to make sure that at least you are 100% sure that you're the one who's in a high vibration state and not bringing the relationship down. Because if you are, odds are that whatever the next relationship comes up, you will sabotage that one too, and until you basically realize, oh, I'm the common denominator bringing everything down, and eventually it will heal. So eventually everything will happen. However, it's just faster just to realize that, oh, I'm the one who's bringing down, therefore let me bring up my energy, and maybe I don't need to go through this breakup, find someone else, just lots of maybe unnecessary suffering. If you like that, go for it. There's no right and wrong, just my personal opinion of different scenarios, how you could play this thing out. And I'm just giving my personal bias. I prefer monogamous relationship, and so preferably I would stay in a relationship if I can, and if not, nothing wrong, great, I move on. So yeah, if they hurt, let them go. If they want to hang around with you, amazing, as long as they don't drain you. And if not, if they drain you, then okay, enough. You move on, I move on. End of the story. And yeah, so yeah, let them go. It's basically the world is mirroring you. Another interesting thing about being hurt and toxic, for many people, it's not about that you're in wrong. Let's explore the other end of it. It's probably that you're not the one who's toxic. However, you might have really poor boundaries. And your kind of karmic loop here is to really have strong, healthy boundaries and be able to say no to people. And that could be your thing. So yeah, put up healthy boundaries, don't let them in. Communicate it clearly, cleanly, lovingly, and yeah, and that could be the only thing that you need to learn. And as soon as you learn your boundaries, This is another interesting perspective, is that as soon as you are a match for what you want, you learn your lesson, you let go of all the toxicity, all the hurts, you learn your boundaries. Whenever you get to that level, your partner will change. Like this is why I love monogamy in that sense, because as I change, my partner change. So I have no fear of being stuck with her, because I will change and she will change. Like as I change, she will change, no problem. And I have infinite patience. So whenever she's ready, she will meet me wherever I'm at. And whenever I'm ready to see that I was the one who's dragging her down, I will meet her. And yeah, it's gonna be fair play, and I'm gonna be a match. So yeah, being hurt and toxic is be a match for what you want, stand for what you want, and yeah, and have fun. There's no such thing as hurt. There's only self-inflicted suffering and stepping up for what you want. Okay, let's move on to next one. Oh, what am I ready? How do I know I'm ready? What if I need to have healing to meet him? All these questions is actually expansion of what we just discussed. Just being a match and actually releasing your fear. There's no like, you can pick any perspective. You could say that there's no such thing as not being ready. It's just that you being ready for something, and is that something what you actually want? And most of the times that's not actually what you want. So there's no judgment of you being ready or needing healing. It's more about accepting reality and seeing, do you want to change any of that? And if you do want to change, go and change. If you don't want to change, enjoy. Keep going. And when it comes to enoughness, like there's no such thing as worthiness and enoughness. It's more of a judgment and concept. Like it's mental concept to entertain people and play out different roles and scenarios. And since you're alive and here and listening to this, you are enough. Creator, God, whatever you believe, created you. So you're needed and useful here. So there's a role for you here. And when it comes to soulmates, some people have in cards or like in their timeline to have one, and they have desire to go through this experience. Some people don't, and totally fine. So it's more about, do you really have a desire? And if you do, you will have one. And if you don't, you will not have one. So accept that. Accept whatever desires you have. Allow yourself to be who you truly are, and things will evolve naturally. So no attachment to time. You can follow the Bashar's formula, highest excitement, and that's it. Follow your highest excitement formula. Do whatever feels the most natural, and that will guide you towards your soulmate. Like basically, this readiness thing is not about being ready. It's about doing what's necessary to be the match by following highest excitement and releasing any expectation, but it's not a match. Okay, let's go to the bit more esoteric side of things. What about, but what if I missed out, like karmic loops, curses? What if I'm karmically blocked, energetically blocked, all these things? And this is kind of a heavy perspective. And how I choose to see this is that there is no real external block that I cannot remove on my own. Like there is none. It's either me consenting to a block or putting myself smaller than a block. And that's it. There's nothing can stop me from meeting my soulmate. Let's say that, guys. There's nothing that can stop me from meeting my soulmate. There is no way that I can miss out. There is no karmic block big enough that can stop me from meeting her. It's impossible. There could be blocks that can slow me down to many years, many decades, and I can accelerate or slow down the journey myself. Yes, there are time delays. But in big picture, nothing is strong enough to stop me. It's impossible. If I have a desire, I have a promise from God, it will happen. If I believe, it will happen. And that's it. That's the certainty I ground myself in. And then it's all about how you choose to play out. What are your permission slips? What do you believe will need to happen for you to receive what you truly want to receive? And then you go down a journey to allowing yourself to receive what you truly want to receive. Your preferred methods of removing blocks, hiring an energy healer, hiring a coach, going on some kind of ceremony, plant medicine, eating vegan, whatever your preferred way of allowing yourself what you want, whatever your permission slip is, go and do that, and you will remove all your blocks and you will get what you want. It is that simple. Yeah. So there is no way of missing out unless you believe that you already missed out, so that will be your reality. And if it works for you, amazing, live with that. And if it doesn't, change that. You can change anything. So essentially, these are the core what ifs. And to summarize this whole video, do I have a soulmate and any of what ifs? In one word, it's your choice. You choose what kind of experience you want to have. Literally, it's that simple. You choose what experience you want to have and then go for it. Allow yourself to have it. When it comes to relationships between soulmates, I believe in agreements and expectations. If I have expectations, I want to be clear about what do I expect from myself and them. And then, if applicable and if needed, I communicate those expectations. And I come to a mutual agreement. And some people get stuck upon that this agreement needs to be verbal and all these things. Well, yes, it's very useful and needed to have verbal agreements. However, it's not a requirement. In high levels of consciousness, verbal agreements not necessary. You can communicate with body language and eyes. Like, you can have a consensual intercourse without any words whatsoever and see and feel it was consensual. There would be no need to ask for it, approve. You will see it, and everyone will be in agreement and winners. So there is no need to worry. And I'm sure you have that kind of experience had, or at least seen it in a movie. So it is possible. However, most people are not in that kind of level of consciousness. So verbal agreements for clarity and certainty are very useful. So I'm not saying that there's something wrong with words and consensual verbal agreements. They're really useful, and I'm all for them. Communication, I love communication. Whatever communication works and brings you that certainty, and in full alignment with your heart, and not the one that kind of ego obsessed, like, oh, I believe I'm the one and I'm the king and everyone should love me and of course they love me. Well, yeah, you can have that as long as it works for you and for everyone else involved. And if some kind of dramas show up, then question, why are they there? Did I communicate clearly? Like, did I kind of filter out some signs? So yeah, it's all about communication with yourself and them, reading their body language, and just making sure that everyone's still happy, in agreement, win-win. And finally, if you still feel kind of on an edge, on a fence between where do you stand, do I want to have one and only, do I want to have multiple, what do I prefer? And if you're still kind of on a fence on these ones, totally fine, nothing wrong with you, is start with your values, like what's important for you, what do you want, and choose. You don't need to have let's say like that, you don't need to have the final answer. You know everything you need to know right now to make a decision you need to make right now. And ask yourself, what do I want? What do I stand for? Do I stand for a faithful relationships? Do I stand for open communication? Everyone being win-win? Everyone getting their greatest good? I feel like this is interesting. And like, what is it actually like? Okay, I do stand for everyone getting their greatest good, a win-win. What does it mean? And what do I mean? What do I understand by that? Is in a grand scheme of things, by end of their life, they're happy and they got the best they could have. They went on the best path for them, and that's what I'm stand for. And if that means they're slightly disappointed in a moment, and that leads to their greatest good, I'm down for that. Like that, I'm fine with that. As long as I feel I have did my best, my level best, and in my heart I know there's nothing I could have done at that specific moment better. And if they hurt, I'm not responsible for their feelings in that sense, because they get to choose how they want to feel, and I get to choose how I engage with them. And I get to stand by my values, they get to stand by their values, and yes, I can influence their feelings and all these things, but again, at the end of the day, what do I stand for? and I have very clear understanding what do I stand for, and that's it, exactly what I invite you to do, to decide what do you stand for. Examine it, explore it, and allow your heart to answer it for you. If it feels good, expansive, loving, fulfilling, that's the truth. That's what you want. That's what you stand for. And it feels contracting, cold, closing, it's probably either a lie or illusion or truth mixed in with lie. So separate the truth from lie, discern, and stick to the truth. That's it. And now I encourage you to take one thing. What is your takeaway? Take that, go apply, change your life, and live a better, more loving life. Have it magical.